I've been watching Bluey. I mean, right, if you watched in my 2022 in review, I talked about how I'd been interested in Bluey. Because I feel like every other millennial, late Gen... I guess it would be early Gen Z. And I was like, you know what? I should just finally bite the bullet and watch Bluey. So that's exactly what I did. I bit the bullet and I started watching the baby show Bluey. And yeah, I get why everybody's talking about it. Yep, it is good. It's really good. I'd mentioned the quote in the past, right? Ify Wadiway said that, you know, most kids shows are garbage, but Bluey fucking slaps. And yeah, he's correct. Bluey does fucking slap. It's been interesting because I saw somebody describe Bluey that, right, when you think of most kids, right, when you think of like a good kids show, it's a show that kids really enjoy, that parents can also find something to enjoy in. Right? A lot of animation that I've talked about over the years. Right? Technically, these are kids' shows, but there's something that anybody can enjoy. And I think Bluey is just the youngest of that demographic. Like, most of the stuff, right, like Steven and the Owl House. Like, yeah, are like anywhere from like 8 to 13-year-olds can enjoy. Like, that's the intended demographic. But so can someone in their, like, mid to late 20s. Bluey, on the other hand, is clearly made for, like, 3 to 5-year-olds. Maybe even younger than that. But yeah, somebody also... Right, it just... Out of all these shows, it definitely skews towards a younger demographic. So it's a kids' show that adults can enjoy. But I saw somebody bring up the idea that what if Bluey isn't a kids show that parents can enjoy, but a show meant for parents that kids can also enjoy. I don't think that's 100% correct. It is definitely a kids show, but I also can totally see it as like a parenting show. So maybe they're both right. As millennials start having their own kids, to be fair, the oldest millennials are in their fucking almost 40. No, they would be over. Millennials starts in 1980. So the oldest millennials are like 42. 43 this year. Right? So this is definitely... There's been definitely this consensus with millennials that the trauma ends with them. The things they did, their parents, their boomer and Gen X parents did to them, they will not do to their kids. The trauma ends with them, which takes us back to Bluey of, right, these are good parents who just fucking love their kids. And this is, right, it's a show teaching parents, you know, end the cycle. Love your kids. Don't be like former President Donald Trump, who says it's gay to love your son. Just love your son. Be like Joe Biden, who even though his son is a fuck up, he still loves him because it's his son. Why wouldn't he? Whereas Donald Trump fucking hates his kids. No, yeah, and that's not a joke, by the way. Like, all of that is true. Donald Trump fucking hates his kids. And most Republicans do as well. And that's why that's why the idea of that's why they keep bringing up Hunter Biden so much. Because the idea that Joe Biden loves his son Hunter, even though he's a fuck up, just blows their mind. Because they don't love any of their kids. The parents in Bluey are fantastic. Getting back on point, I don't remember either of their names, right? It's mom and dad. I don't remember. I want to say the father is named Bandit. The parents are fantastic, right? The dad comes in. A lot of the, like, the early episodes are just the dad playing games with his kids. Oh, we're gonna play shopping. Oh, we're gonna play doctors. We're gonna climb Mount Dad. Which, that's an adorable episode where they're pretending to be like fingers, like it's the finger people, and they're climbing the father. That's such a fun episode. But yeah, it's just right, like a lot of them, and the mom, right, the longer the show goes on, the more involved the mom gets, as because right, they're both like, I thought it was originally going to be like the scenario of, right, the dad is a stay-at-home dad, and the mom works. Which isn't, right, not the stereotypical thing. I mean, to be fair, both parents work in the show. But right, that's where I thought, like, based on the first few episodes, and they do actually, there's one of the kids at the kindergarten who mentions that, right, they play mom and dad, and one of them has a mom that works and a dad that stays home, while the other has a dad that works and a mom that stays home. So they do bring that up in one episode. I don't remember either of the kids. The only kids' names I remember is, I know Chloe is, I want to say Chloe is the poodle, and I know Mackenzie is one of them. I have no idea which, like, what dogs they are. To be fair, I recognize some of the breeds, but not that many. Muffin is the cousin, and Socks is her younger brother. Or sister, I don't remember. And, like, you'll have moments where, like, the dad is playing with his daughters, and they'll be out in public, and they'll do something embarrassing. And the dad is originally hesitant to do it, but eventually he gives in. Like, there's one episode where they're, like, playing pirates, and the dad's, like, right, like, they're on, like, a hammock. But then another parent comes over, like, one of his buddies, and he's originally, like, hesitant to continue playing with them and, like, make weird sounds. But eventually he gives in and he does it. So I love, right, the parents are just there for their kids. They play games. They love them. And I just love that. I absolutely love that. And I love everybody else in town plays along as well. The neighbor who, for some reason I remember it's called Lucky's dad. Because even though Lucky has only showed up in like 1 or 2 episodes, I remember their name because the dad's is Lucky's dad. Right? He plays along. Like at one point, Bluey turns his, or Bluey, her, ugh. I know they're all female. You know me, I'm bad with pronouns. I know they're all female. I know everyone, I've seen that thing where like people keep calling Bluey him, but it's a girl, right? Just because character, blue, boy color. No, this is not me confusing the gender. This is me being a fucking idiot who is bad with pronouns. Turns her sister and mom into lions, and they sneak over to Lucky's dad's, and the right, Bingo and Mom Lion attack, and he just plays along with it. Or there's one where they play kids, and Bluey is playing the mom, and Bingo is playing, for some reason I remember this name, Snowdrop. And, the dad is playing, like, the angsty teen brother. And in that episode, the cashier, like, when they're checking out at the grocery store, the cashier just plays along to the fact that Bluey's the mom, along with, like, one other character in that episode, who also just, like, catches on and, like, plays along with it. I love that every adult in the show, right? Like, at no point has there been an adult who's like, oh, you need to be, like, proper little ladies, right? You can't be playing kids' games. Right? No, at no point does anyone, like, say, that's, to be fair, that's a very an American boomer thing. And, right, this is an Australian show. But yeah, there's a great Tumblr post, I think it was a Tumblr post about that, where, like, a kid's at, like, the supermarket playing, like, superhero or something, and an old lady's like, don't you want to be a princess? And then she's like, no, I want to be a superhero. Or maybe it's, like, a pirate, and I want to say she, like, kicks the old lady in, like, the knee or something like that. I don't know. It's one of those things that might be fake, it might be real. You never really know with the internet. I know there's that notion to assume that everything's fake on the internet, and you can tell when some stuff is fake. But, the world's a very big place. Anything is possible. But yeah, so I love the fact that every adult just kind of plays along with their stupid ideas. I love that fact. That's one of the, right, as an adult watching this baby show, that's something that I just really appreciate. That every adult plays along. I have not cried. I've been told there are some episodes that will totally make you cry. Right? Where sometimes, because, right, even though sometimes you don't want a moral lesson, sometimes you just want ice cream. But no, I have not. There's one episode that got me close, but I don't remember what it was. I want to say it was something the mom said that was like, oh wow, that's really sad. And I've only finished the first season, so I am not far enough in the show to have met the mom's sister yet. And I've heard there's some sad thing about her. I'm not far enough in the show. I haven't even met her yet. No, there was something. One of the great moments was so in that kids episode, right? The one where I was talking about, like, where the convenience store clerk was like playing along. In that episode starts off with Bluey asking the dad which one of them is his favorite child, and he's just like, yeah, dads don't have favorites. And then later on, when they're playing pretend, Bluey says that Bingo Snowdrop is his favorite child, and the dad gets like really bummed out for a moment there. And I was like, oh my god, that's the saddest thing ever. Like I didn't actually make me cry, because again, they're playing pretend and whatnot. But like, that was like holy shit. Like, you know, there's that whole thing about like, there's two, when it comes to making kids media, there are two approaches. The first approach is, you know, they're stupid fucking kids. We can just put flashing colors, pretty lights, and a lot of wacky sound effects in front of the TV, and they'll eat it up, right? Because they're stupid fucking kids. Then there is the approach that, you know, kids are actually a lot smarter than we give them credit for. That because they are kids, we don't have to give them just the lowest common denominator. We actually have to put a lot of effort into this because they're kids. They deserve the best. And of course, of those two approaches, the second one is clearly correct. But somehow we keep ending back at door number one. I say that, but I definitely feel like in the past 20 years, things have gotten a lot better. Now, maybe 20 is a little too generous. But, like, I hear stories of, like, people talking about, like, Doc McStuffins, like, inspiring their kid, and it's like, yeah, we've clearly gone a long way. And that was, like, 5 or 6 years ago now. Kids deserve the best. And, you know, we can treat them mature, because kids will catch on to a lot more than we give them credit for. They're smart little buggers, really. Like, they do deserve the best. And, yeah, I completely agree. That's a philosophy I've held for years now. Right? And that's where you get some excellent kids programming, right? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He believed kids deserved the best. And, yeah, it was great. But, yeah, so that episode, right, because, like, this show is not always, like, sounds and noises. Sometimes it does have its quieter moments. Sometimes it gets, like, the animation gets, like, really detailed for a second when they do, like, zoom-ins. Like, early on, like, Bingo finds, like, a stick, or a walking leaf. And, like, goes up to it, and, like, her face gets, like, the shadows get really detailed for a second there. And it's like, oh, that's neat. And they do that every once in a while. Every once in a while, they'll put out some, like, high-quality animation. And I think, and not saying that the rest of the show looks, like, bad or anything. It's just they enhance the details just for these little special moments. And I really like that. They do it several times. Bluey says that Snowdrop is her favorite child. Ugh. It really does. It's like, oh yeah, this is a quiet moment. And Bluey realizes her mistake and is like, no, I shouldn't have said that. Right? The kids are smart. Bluey comes, I know this is this is a pre-written show. But no, I 100% believe a real kid would come to the same conclusion as Bluey. Because the other thing is, these kids feel like fucking kids. And I'm not just talking, right, Muffin, who I've seen described as, like, the most accurate portrayal of a kid ever in television. And I kind of get it. I definitely, I saw a clip. I haven't seen the episode yet, because I think it's, like, a season 3. But there's an episode with, where there's an iPad, and, like, I saw it on TikTok, and Muffin steals the iPad, and then just goes crazy with it, and, like, runs around, and it's like, yeah, okay, I see kid as kid. But no, the kids are well written, and something I respect the hell out of this show is you constantly hear stories about these child actors and actresses, right, getting harassed, getting shit, right? Or they grow, right? You always hear all these terrible things about child actors and actresses. But all the child actors in this show, completely anonymous. In the credits, it's only the actors for the adults, right? The parents, Calypso, who's another name I remember. Admittedly, I remember Calypso's name because Calypso is, I'm pretty sure, Calypso is an Australian Shepherd, and my dog is an Australian Shepherd. That's the only reason why I remember Calypso's name. God, I want to draw my... I wish I could draw. I want to draw my dogs in the Bluey style so bad. That would be so fucking cute. But no. Maybe... I know there's one episode where they find an injured bird, and the bird doesn't make it. It dies. And, like, there's an entire episode about Bluey processing her grief after that, and, like, how she does it. And, like, yeah, that was a fantastic episode, because, like, she recreates, like, the death of the bird, and you think it's like, oh, well, this time the bird's gonna live. But no, that's not what she wants. She wants the bird to still die. Because, right, it's how she processes things. That was great. There was definitely some moment with the mom, though, where I was like, oh my god, that's so sad. I don't remember what it is. And there are also very funny moments as well. Right? It's not all super serial. There's tons of shit. Like, the first season's like 50 like, 8-minute up. So it's 50 episodes that are each like 8 minutes each, and that's including credits, I think. Maybe it's like 7-8-minute episodes. They're all really short episodes. So you can... I binged it in, what, 7 days for a season? That's not bad at all. Grandmas. They play grandma at one point. And, the episode is like, oh, Bingo is asking, well, do grandmas floss? Right? Because, you know, the dance move, the floss. Which I know some people will be like, oh, cringe. These are fucking children. Cut them a fucking break. Yes, children are cringe. They have always been cringe. You were cringe. We've all been cringe at one point. Cut them a fucking break. It was an adorable episode, and Bingo and Bluey playing grandma was so cute. Especially when they get the actual grandparents and teach them how to floss. I love that little moment. That entire episode with the asparagus wand, where they turn people into animals, that one was really cute. Same thing with the feather wand, where they can make... And I love how everyone just plays along. They have a feather wand that can make anything light or heavy. Specifically, they use heavy a lot. And it's so much fun to just see how that plays out. The Shadowlands one was very cute, mainly because I remember doing that as a child, right? Walking on the shadows, walking down the road and hopping between the tiles, right? You don't want to step on a crack. You don't want to break your mama's back, which is, I guess, a thing. Like, there was some girl made a post being like, you know, this video is only for the guys, and I don't get it, right? Why is this video only for the guys? It's just a guy walking down the street. But, you know, he's just not walking on the cracks. And to be fair, I think I've done that. Not in, like, public, but definitely while I've been, like late night when I'm, like, writing a paper. I would be, like, walking down the tiles, and I would be doing it in a specific order as not to walk on any of the cracks. So, yeah, I definitely feel like that's something I've done. The bike one was really good, right? Another one of those ones with a good message. I liked the bike one. The Blue Mountains, that was the one where they're like little hand people. That one was adorable. Pirates was good. Grannies. Oh, what was it? The one where I'll find it was I think it was called Camping was the episode's name. Yeah, the episode was called Camping. And it was the one where Bluey meets this his name was, what was his name? It's not LaCroix. It's something like that. And it's this foreign kid who only speaks French. So, right, they don't speak each other's language, but, you know, they're still playing. They have they capture the dad who, you know, pretends to be a pig for them. But it's Bluey and this foreign kid, and it's just a really cute episode about how kids can play even though they don't even speak each other's languages, right? It's like 3 steps removed from like a pidgin language thing, but that's exactly where pidgin languages come from, right? When you look at like histories of like different cultures interacting, pidgin languages are first found within children before anywhere else. So that's what that reminds me of. But then the ending where it's like, oh, will I ever see him again? Who knows? And then you see Bluey as like I think she's supposed to be like a teenager, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older. I'm not entirely sure. It definitely felt very teenage to me. Just because they plant a tree, they plant like a seed. And then we see like years later that seed grows into a tree. And yeah, Bluey goes to read under the tree. And hey, the kid's there again. This, right? He wasn't called LaCroix, but he's something like that. That was adorable. That was an adorable episode. The Neighbors one. Oh my gosh, in the Neighbors one. Right, they're playing Neighborhood, and Bingo is stealing all the space to raise her farm animals. Meanwhile, the mom is, right, sent up her little nice home. But she's living next to the dad, who is just trying to be the most obnoxious neighbor in the world. And it's so fucking funny. The dad just trying to be obnoxious. Again, I love the parents' dynamics. Right? The parents that just clearly love each other. And right, I know they technically fall into, right, the buzzkill mom and the stupid dad. But, like, one of the things that a lot... Like, it's definitely not true in modern Simpsons. But in early Simpsons, like the first, again, 8-9 seasons, one of the things is that, right, even though Marge was the nagging wife and Homer was the idiot husband, it was very clear that they loved each other. Right? That they... And even, like, there were moments where their marriage was tested, but even still, they loved each other. And that's right, even though you've kind of got that set up with the parents here. No, they love each other. Right? I don't question it for a second. And right, even though you do get moments where, like, the mom is, like, looking at the dad, like, come on. Or, like, the one episode where, the dad yells at Bingo and kind of, like, makes her tear up. And the mom has to, like, make Bingo feel better and, like, get the dad to admit, right, that, right, what he did wasn't okay, but him making his daughter, like, cry. Because she goes and hides, like, under the porch or something. It was a really sweet episode. So I've talked all these positives, and I'm sure there's, like, dozens of things I'm forgetting. I don't know. I found, like, if I couldn't watch, like, if I watched, like, so many episodes in a row, I was just like, yeah, I need a break from this. Any other thing that stands out to me? Oh, The Adventure. Oh my gosh. That I'm just looking through the episode list right now. Because this is all on Disney Plus, I should say. That's where I'm watching it. I know there are some episodes that aren't on Disney Plus, and maybe I'll look that up after I finish it, but... Because it is curious to hear what episodes Disney wouldn't air. Like, that's... Right, it's like reading a banned book. Like, what episodes was Disney scared to air in the States? Because, well, it's not a Disney show, but you know what I mean. Right, Disney has the rights to stream it here in America. Kind of like how they have... I guess Disney has the rights to stream My Hero Academia in Japan, which I find very funny. And I think they also have the rights to Bleach as well, which is also hilarious. But yeah, the one where they go on the adventure, and it's Bingo, or Bluey, and one of the other kids, and they just go on this cute little adventure where they, like... They fight like a witch that turns people to stone, and, you know, they alternate between playing the horsey and playing the princess. It was all very adorable. Very, right, capturing the childlike sense of imagination. It's just a good show. Right? Do I recommend it? I mean, I have 2 more seasons to go, admittedly. Do I agree with the quote that Bluey fucking slaps? Yes. But I definitely do have to put some more time into it, I guess. I mean, I'm definitely interested enough. But yeah, for, like, you know, I've seen a lot of cartoons over the years. Right? As, like, a millennial, I've watched a lot of these cartoons meant for younger kids. And, you know, I've never had a problem with it, right? I even, like, shows where I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna watch My Little Pony. You know, that's a kid's show. I've been like, you know, one day I'll probably end up watching it. To be fair, I've seen like a dozen episodes over the years. at just different points in my life, and all of the movies. But that's a whole other thing. When something is good enough, it can be enjoyed by anybody. I enjoy it. I don't know if I recommend... If you have kids, 1,000%. If you have kids in that, like, right, like that, I don't know, I'm going to say 2 to 5 age range, they're going to absolutely love this show. Anywhere else, I mean, they probably will still... Again, I think it's a show that anyone could enjoy. I mean, again, I don't think... Well, you know, again, we're fixing the trauma. The trauma ends with us. So I don't know if a baby boomer would enjoy it. But, right, like, of that age of, like, the we're fixing the trauma generations, or the trauma ends with us generations, I think there's something to enjoy here.